Yo, what's up? It's Nash, and welcome to today's video. And it's going to be a freaking banger because we're talking about why most content creators struggle to make money with their business. And I'm not necessarily talking about like struggling to charge clients, although that could be true, but more so, why are some people able to charge like 10 grand for a video and you look at their page and you're like, bro, that dude's content is not even close to as good as mine, but he's charging like way more, like 10 times more than I'm charging. And his work isn't even as good. Like, what the heck is going on? How do I get to that level? Because I know, because I was at that position too. It's super frustrating. It's annoying. And this video basically is here to help you solve that problem, to help you get to the point where you can actually charge what you are worth to the clients you actually want to charge. So why most content creators struggle to make money with their business breaks down to 3 different things that I've been able to identify. So the first one is mindset. And before you just tune me off and say that's a bunch of BS, because trust me, I'm not a huge fan of the mindset stuff either. Just listen, because this is super, super important. And trust me, I wouldn't include it in here if it wasn't. So you're likely operating out of a scarcity mindset where every client is a live or die scenario. So what do I mean by that? I mean, if you lose this client, then you can't pay your rent. If you don't close this client, then you can't pay your phone bill. Like, you're basically running your business where every single client is like, I have to have this. And if I don't, I'm going under and like, I'm basically screwed, right? So that's kind of the scarcity mindset that I'm talking about here. And let me just break it down a little bit more. So the reason this happens is because most of the time creatives typically don't come from a business background. So they lack some basic business principles as well as some basic business like fundamentals. Okay. So what happens is that because you don't have that many clients, you have few clients and you're not charging enough per client, you don't have the funds to reinvest back into the business, and you're taking all the profits to pay your own personal bills. Now, this is a problem for a lot of reasons, but I'll show you why this is a major problem. So I call it the hamster wheel, okay? So what does a hamster wheel look like? It's a circle. And hamsters run on this wheel almost like a treadmill, and they can't get off of it. They're running, they're putting in all this effort, but they can't actually move anywhere. So it's the same thing for creators in their business, right? When they're in this stage where they're making some money, but they have to put it all back into their personal bills and can't actually scale their business, it becomes a hamster wheel. So what happens is they get paid up here from a client, but they immediately have to put that money into their bills, into their phone payment, into their car payment, into whatever it is. So they don't have any money down here to actually reinvest into the business. So because they don't have more money, they have to get another client, or they have to continue charging this client whatever they're charging, or they have to take on any project they possibly can, because if they don't, then they can't pay the bills. So you end up being burnt out, overworked, and it's just annoying, honestly. It's not fun. It's not creative. It's just doing the work because you have to in order to get paid. So how do you get out of this and get to a point where you're doing one of these? See, most creators, especially you, if you're watching it, you probably have great content. Your work is probably really great, and you're probably even getting results for your clients. But the problem is you're down here where you're charging and you're making anywhere from like maybe 3,000 to 5,000, maybe 6,000 a month. You're kind of in the freelance grind down here. You got a few clients, and it's just like, you know, kind of burning the midnight oil all the time. So how do you get to this point? Well, you have to get out of this scarcity mindset, and you have to start thinking in an abundance mindset. I'm going to show you how to do this in just a second. But if you're not reinvesting into your business, both in money and time, that's how businesses thrive. It's like feeding the business. If you can't feed your business more money, more time, you can't grow systems, you can't grow people, you can't invest into coaching in order to help you up your skill level to be able to do this kind of stuff. And you end up stuck here for the next 3 to 5 years until you get tired of it and go get another 9 to 5. Or until you realize, okay, I actually do have to double down and reinvest into some of this stuff so I can learn how to do it, so I can invest in the systems and the people that help me get there. And that's when you see this exponential growth right here. So that's why scarcity is so detrimental to a creator's growth. So how do we overcome this? Well, overcoming scarcity, you have to understand 2 truths. So again, this isn't tactical. This is just like mindset stuff in terms of shifting how you think. So the first one is that there's plenty of clients out there that need my service now. Guarantee if you send an email to every single brand in existence today, there would be like so many brands that want to work with you that you couldn't even handle it. Like, honestly, there would be. The problem is you're not getting in front of those right now. So the second one is that they're willing to pay you what you deserve, keyword, provided that you can show them the value in what you have to offer. If you can't show the value in what you have to offer, then no one's going to want to pay you. But if you can, which I'm going to show you how to do later in this video, then you absolutely will be able to start to get paid what you're actually worth so that you can scale your business, so you can reinvest, so you can start to grow a team and do the whole thing, right? Reinvesting into business will start to get you results quicker, right? If you have the excess money where you're not just reinvesting everything, or not reinvesting, but taking all the money out of the business to pay your bills, you're able to start scaling your business much quicker, much faster. And then that's how you get those insane results in 90 days that I talked about in the last video, is you start reinvesting into your business so that you can scale. The second aspect is fear, and that is based on the first aspect of mindset, because this fear is ultimately based on mindset. But you're likely afraid to charge more, which stems back to that scarcity mindset that we just talked about. So let me break this down. So fear around charging what you are worth is typically a result of at least one of these three core emotions, and sometimes it's all three. But if you're scared to charge what you're worth, then you're absolutely never going to be able to charge more than what you're currently charging right now. So you have to be able to move past that. But these core emotions are either that you are confused as to what to charge. You have no idea. You have no baseline. You've never talked to anyone about it. No one shares. And to be honest, it's not your fault, because no one shares this stuff. And this is why my YouTube channel even exists, because I want to make this information more publicly available. The second one is that you're afraid of losing a client. So maybe you do understand what you should charge, but you think if you charge that amount, it's going to be a sticker shock and the client will just be like, nah, it's too expensive. I don't want to work with you. And because you're coming from that scarcity mindset where every client is a do or die, you absolutely cannot afford to lose that client. So you're willing to say like, okay, well, if I charge half the price of what I wanted, that's better than getting zero out of this client. And then lastly, this leads into you not being confident that you're actually worth what you're charging. So when you pitch a price to a client, say you're charging $5K for a video, and the client's like, no, we can't do that. We can only do 3. Then you're like, okay, well, the client doesn't think that my work is valued at 5,000. So it must not be valued at that. I might be overcharging. So then the next time you pitch a client, you're only going to charge 3K. Even though you've seen people charge 5 in the past, because you don't think you personally are worth that, you're going to charge 3. Because either you think that your experience isn't there, your quality of work isn't there, you're going to justify a reason why you're not worth it. But ultimately, it comes down to, again, a mindset. It's an emotion. It's just that you are not confident. So how do we overcome these? Well, if you're confused of what to charge, that one's easy. You can watch my video on pricing. I'll link it somewhere on this video. You can go ahead and check it out after this video, and it'll give you a good baseline for what you should charge based on your skill level. That's a great place to start. I also, linked in the description below, have a pricing calculator that'll help you break down exactly how you should charge a project based on rates that I use, some of my friends use, as well as just industry standard. So you either don't know or you don't care. And now you know how to do it because you'll be able to watch that video or download the calculator. So if you don't know how to price yourself, then it's because you don't care. So care about it and actually learn how to do it. So those are 2 tools that you can use right now to get rid of the excuse of not knowing what to charge. The second one is that you're afraid of losing a client. Now, I want to shift your mind here a little bit that it's actually not a bad thing to lose a client that doesn't want to pay you what you're worth. So losing a client that doesn't value your work and your time is actually not a loss. It's a win. Because guess what? Now you don't have to go chasing your paycheck, have to deal with them trying to talk you down, have to deal with a ton of revisions and just headache clients. You don't have to deal with that, right? So that's actually a win. And because we know that there's so many clients out there that actually want to work with us, we just have to find somebody else to replace that. Ideally, that we're spending the same amount of time and effort on that is paying us more for that same amount of time and effort that we're putting into it, because they actually value our time and energy that we're putting into the work. And they value it by paying us what we're asking them to pay us, right? So it's actually not a loss to lose that client. It's actually a win because it frees up your time to be able to find the one that actually will value you. Now, the third is that you're not confident that you're worth what you're charging. And this one is a very easy one to overcome as well, because if you can just show a client how they will achieve their desired outcome with less time and less effort, then you are by default valuable. So let me just give you an example. Most clients, most brands at least, their dream outcome is either higher engagement, higher reach, more followers, more sales, more bookings, better engagement on their ads, one of those, okay? So if you can help them get one of those core desires in less time and less effort on their part and just a better overall experience, you're valuable. And you got to own that, so that when somebody tries to come at you and say, hey, I know you charge 5, but let's do it for 3, you can say no, because this is the results I'm bringing you. I know this is valuable. And if you guys value this as much as you should, then you'll understand that the price you're paying is 100% worth it. You're going to get a massive ROI on it. So that's how you frame it. And as long as you know that you're going to get the client results in less time and less effort on their part, then you are valuable and you can own it. So that brings me to the third and final aspect of it. And this is one of the biggest things that most creators do, especially if you have the mindset part locked in, is system. So you're likely lacking a simple system for generating consistent, quality, high-paying clients at scale. Now notice I have all three. So consistency, meaning that you don't have to chase every month to try to find new clients, right? Quality, meaning that you're not chasing payment. They're not trying to haggle you down. They're not asking for a million revisions. Okay, they're quality clients and they're high paying, which means when you tell them the price, they're willing to pay it because they understand the value that you are portraying through that. So that's what the system is designed to do, to get you consistent, quality, high paying clients at scale. Now, the problem is most creators don't even know the game they're playing and they don't know the rules of the game. And if you don't know the rules of the game, it's impossible to win. So let me give you this analogy. So say you are on a soccer team. You've never played the sport, you've never watched the sport, you've never talked about it, you don't know the positions, you've never been coached on it before. But you're on the sidelines and the star player of your team goes down, he gets hurt, and the coach is like, yo, I need you to go in, go take over and win the game. You're going to be like, coach, I've never played this sport. I don't even know what the heck I'm doing. And he's going to be like, no, go win the game. That's probably what you feel like as a creator right now, because you don't have a system that tells you this is the rules, this is how you play the game, and gives you a game plan for how to actually do it. Right? So what happens? You go into the game, you have no clue what you're doing. So what do? You look at what the goalie's doing, what the forwards are doing, what the defenders are doing, and you try to make a compilation of all these different things, and you have no clue what to do to actually play your position because you're just basing it off all these other positions. So you start doing a bunch of random stuff that doesn't work, and guess what? You lose the game because you don't understand how to play it because you haven't been coached on how to play it. And again, I don't blame you for that because no one talks about this stuff. But that's why this YouTube channel even exists in the first place, is to help expose you to the rules of the game and how to play it. So when you don't understand the rules, it's impossible to win. So how do we understand the rules? Well, let me just put it this way. First of all, most of the classes and courses and whatnot out there are going to teach you some version of quantity over quality, meaning that if you send 100 DMs a day or 100 emails a day, or just reach out and blast out this script email and automate it and do all this stuff to as many brands as you possibly can, it's a numbers game, and eventually you'll land a client. That's kind of the mainstream advice out there, and it's honestly horrendous advice for a lot of reasons, but I'll break down two. The first one is that I've talked to multiple creators over the last week that are struggling to get consistent clients, and I asked them how many reach outs they're doing, and they're like, dude, I've sent like 5,000 over the past few months. I'm like, okay, so that's a lot. How many have you actually landed? And they'll be like, well, I've landed a few of them, maybe like, 4 or 5. So that's 1 out of 1,000 emails sent, DMs sent, that they actually land into a paying client. That's a horrible percentage. And the reason why is because it's quantity over quality. It's an extremely generic message that's blasted out to the internet. And, when you blast out that many emails, of course, you're going to have a few come through and be willing to work with you. But I guarantee you that the ones that are willing to work with you, if you do that, are not paying you the amount you actually should be paid, because again, you're not speaking to their core desire. So what happens is that you have this garbage, unproven email message that you found on Instagram, some scripts, maybe you even bought it in a course or some ebook or something. It's not proven, it's not tested. You haven't actually seen results for yourself on that. But instead of going out and trying to modify it and position yourself as an actual authority in the industry, you're like, well, it's easier if I just blast this garbage out to as many people as I possibly can. So you set up these like email automation systems and get outbound teams and like all this kind of stuff to blast out this garbage email. And what does it do? It just produces more garbage. It produces more emails that people are just like not interested, or they want a free collab, or they're going to give you the cheap rate because you have not actually said how you can help them solve a specific problem for their company. So when you scale garbage, you just get more garbage. And that's just how it is. So how do you rectify this? Well, instead of doing the quantity over quality, instead of sending 100 DMs a day that are just at scale and just not good, what I like to do is quality over quantity. So instead of over here, people will send, 100 a day and they won't close any of those. What I'll do is I'll send, say, like 10 a day, but they're very, very specific to the brand, specific to exactly what they need. And that's going to result in 1 to 2 closes out of those 10. Okay, so I'm not going to close every single one of them. That's nearly impossible. But typically, I'll close at least 1 to 2 of those. Whereas these guys, like I said, somebody sent 1,000 emails and they got 1 deal out of that. So this might result in 0. So look at this. You're wasting your time and your money, actually, because a lot of these automation services are expensive. So you're wasting your time and money doing this kind of thing when you could just learn how to actually message and actually do it the right way so that brands actually want to work with you. I guarantee you the top photographers in the world are not doing this. They're absolutely not doing this. They're doing something more similar to this. So the question is, how do you set up a system like this? Well, what I call it is precision prospecting. So precision prospecting is based on 4 core tenets. So the first one is getting an appointment. So how do you get an appointment? Well, number one, you pick a niche that is something you want to do, okay? You pick a niche and you find brands on Google or Instagram that fit that niche. So let's say it's adventure travel. You find backpack brands, adventure outdoor apparel brands, camping brands, canteen brands, whatever it is, right? You find these brands on Google, Instagram, even Amazon, you could if you want, and you reach out to the decision maker through email. And that's usually going to be your brand manager or your marketing manager. So you can just go on LinkedIn, you can figure out who that is. If you just type in the brand on LinkedIn, you can typically figure out pretty quick who that marketing manager is. So you can send them an email, and there's things like Snow.io that you can use to find a brand's email, or Hunter.io. You can find the marketing manager's email. And this is the key. You got to formulate a message that speaks to their core desire. So we're not just blasting out copy and paste emails, some script that we have. Like, we're actually spending the time to figure out what that core desire is. Is it to get more engagement? Is it to be more consistent? Is it to get better ad creatives that convert higher? Is it, what is it? If you don't understand what that is, then the client won't understand the value that you're actually bringing them, and therefore you are a commodity and you are just like everyone else. So the goal here is to separate yourself from being just like everyone else. And that's how you get that first initial message. The second one is you got to close deals. So the goal of the appointment is to get them on a call via a Zoom call or a Google Meet or whatever it is. It's got to be face-to-face. Okay. It's got to be on a call. It can't be through email. It can't be through DM, because a few reasons. Number one, it builds the client's know, like, and trust of you. So people buy from people that they know, like, and trust. If you're just sending emails and DMs, they don't know you because it's just a profile picture that you have on your email signature or whatever. They don't like and trust you because, again, you're just a random stranger on the internet. But when you have that call, when you have that face-to-face, you have a half an hour FaceTime with the person, then all of a sudden they get to know you, they get to like you, they get to trust you, and that leads to them being more likely to hire you, but also more likely to hire you at a higher price because they know, like, and trust you. And then in order to be able to do that, you have to have a framework for how you run your sales calls, because you can't just go out there and just randomly start talking and just hope something good happens. There's actually structure for how you run these sales calls. I call it my storytelling sales framework because I think it helps creators understand it a little better. But basically your goal here is just to help a client get to the point where they're at a position that is painful, that they don't like, and help yourself be the hero to take them from that point A that they don't like to point B where they're getting the results or the desired outcome that they actually want. That's all the storytelling sales framework is in a nutshell. But I have another video that talks more specifically about how to actually operate that for yourself. You can check out on my channel if you so desire. So the third one is you have to get great client results. And this is absolutely pivotal, because if you don't do this, you're not going to be in business very long. So what do I mean by that? Not just that you're making the most cinematic or the most pretty pictures or videos or whatever. Like, that's important to an extent, but it's not the most important thing. The most important thing is that you are positioning yourself as a marketing partner versus a content creator. Let me tell you the difference. So a marketing partner is somebody who's in the client's corner, who has the desire for them to reach their desired outcome and is helping them get there, not just by taking pictures or videos, but by actually showing them, like, hey, if you guys use this here, this will convert better. Or if you guys switch out this content with this, I think you'll get better results. Okay, as opposed to a content creator who just takes pictures, sends it over to them, doesn't give a crap what happens to them afterwards. So the brand just loses touch and they just look at you as just another freelancer. This guy, the marketing partner, is somebody who can actually get results for the client. So when you make content that supports the client's core desire, okay, this is why understanding what their core desire is so important, then that makes you stand out from the rest of these guys, the content creators who don't give a crap what happens, makes you stand out from them, and also encourages the brand to hire you so that you can start getting them more results. Because if you get them great results the first time, they're going to hire you again. Because guess what? You got them great results. And they probably will even talk to their friends who are marketing managers in other resorts or other brands or whatever it is as well. Because people like to talk about people that help them achieve their goal. So that's why becoming a marketing partner over a content creator is so important. Now, the last one is because you've been able to close more deals, get great client results, you're able to charge more, and you're able to have more clients, which means you have excess money to be able to reinvest in your business, to grow your team, and to get out of the trenches so that you can reinvest and hire for positions that actually support you. So you don't want to do sales, you don't want to do outbound. Guess what? You can hire an appointment setter, you can hire a sales closer that can do that work for you so that you can focus on the things you want to. Say you don't want to edit videos anymore. Great, let's hire a video editor so they can take that off the plate for you. Say you have projects that you're not really passionate about and you only want to focus on the ones that you want to do. Great, let's hire other people to be able to do those so you can work on the ones you want to. So when you focus only on the aspects of the business that bring you joy, guess what? You got more time, you have more money, and you have more freedom. You have more time to be able to pick the ones that you want to pick, and you have the ability to do that. You have more money because you're charging more and you're taking on only the clients you want to take on, and you have a team helping you make money as well, which leads to more freedom to be able to do whatever the heck you want with the projects you take on or with your free time, your lifestyle, whatever it might be. Okay. And that's ultimately what we're trying to do with precision prospecting. So that sounds like you, if you're a creator in the 3 to 5K range, maybe even 6,000 a month, and you feel like you're on this hamster wheel that we talked about earlier, where you're spinning your wheels, you don't have money at the end of the month to reinvest into your business, and you feel like you're just stuck here and you're like, I really want to do this where I'm hitting like, 15, 20K a month consistently with different clients that I actually want to work with. If you want to do that, then go ahead and check the link in the description below, because I have a link to book a call with me to see if I can help you scale up your business and see if it's a fit for you. So if that's you, I'd love to talk to you, love to show you how I can potentially help you scale up your business to that 20K a month level. If that's not you, totally fine. I have tons of other videos on my channel. So feel free to subscribe and like this video because you'll love the rest of the videos on my channel. I talk all about the practicalities of like how to actually do this stuff. So I think it'll be super, super helpful for you. And also if you have specific questions that you want to reach out and ask me, then go ahead and shoot me a DM at Nash Hagen on Instagram, and I'll get back to you and we can start a conversation there. But other than that, hopefully this video was super valuable for you, and I will see you in the next one.